Welcome back to the channel. It has been beautiful weather for the last week. We had all that rain and now it's kind of starting to get a little bit droughty, I would say. The oats have dried down quite a bit and I have not been able to really get an accurate moisture test because they're still in with all the chaff and everything. It's hard for me to clean it by hand. So I guess what we're gonna do today is we are gonna get the combine out. And I got to go through, obviously, the settings, set it up for oats. It should be pretty close because we're set for wheat right now. So we're going to go do a test run in the field and just kind of feel it out, see where we are, see if we're ready to go with moisture. And if we're not, then no big deal. We'll just, wait a little bit longer. But I think we are getting to the point where if it's not ready now, it's going to be really close. Does this when it hasn't ran for a while. It fires right up and then it doesn't want to run. Okay, little starting fluid. We got her fired right up. We'll adjust all the settings that we need. Really, I think the only thing I'm gonna have to change is the sieves and the chaffer. That's ultimately it. The oat fields were looking really good and it's kind of the same thing as the wheat. They were looking really good, actually. They were looking better than the wheat fields did. And the longer the time went to, the plant dying and drying down and everything, the more weeds grew in between. So as unfortunate as it is, at least two of the fields are really bad with weeds and grass. So it's going to basically be like wheat. We're going to be running a bunch of green material through the combine again. It is what it is. I was trying this year with the wheat and trying with the oats to not have to spray any sort of herbicide. And unfortunately, it didn't work out. So lesson learned from here on out. We're probably going to obviously change some stuff and do things a little bit differently. But that's where we're at. The one field is starting to get a little bit grassy, weedy, and especially where we had some drown out areas. It didn't help with all the rain that we had this year. That's a big problem in itself. So the biggest field, a little bit going on there too, but nothing near as bad. There's a lot of oats hanging in some areas. So it's just, we got to deal with it. So I'll get everything switched around with the combine and we'll probably head down to the closest field here. And we'll just go in enough that, I can get a sample from the grain tank and see where we're at, see what we're running. If we're not in that percentage of moisture that I want to be at, then we're just going to call it for today and, wait until we are at that point. Not a whole lot to change. Sieves and chaffer, I adjusted a little bit according to the book. Cylinder speed, that is pretty much should be fine. We're running that around the same that we ran for wheat. And the clearance also on that to the concaves, that's should be exactly where we were for the wheat also. So I think we should be good to try it. I mean, obviously we'll have to fine tune it depending what ends up in the grain tank. But we're gonna try and roll and see what's up and how the moisture is. I really wish the fields were, a little nicer because obviously we'd get straw and everything else. But again, as I explained, it is what it is. The oat field is right here to our right. It looks more green than it does brown. There's oats in there, but it got bad with grass. Yeah, this isn't very good. I'm half debating on, I don't know. There's definitely oats down in there, but oh my goodness. More weeds than anything. An oat field should not be this green. Not at all. It up, which I don't know what happened. I think the chain's still on, but can't get the clutch to do anything here. We don't have much sitting back there. We went around a loop. Oh boy. Well, I'll check a moisture test on it for starters. We'll see where we're at. In the center, believe it or not, it's not even cutting. Left all these oats stand here yet. What the world? Oh goodness. You know, it comes down to, for the little amount of oats that this is going to provide, I mean, you can see it down in there. Is it really worth it, or do we just mow this? One of two things we could do here: mow this for like hay, which would have like oats in it, which really I don't think would be a problem, or just bush hog it, because a lot of what this grass is foxtail, which is not good for hay, not when it's in seed heads like this. So yeah, I'm gonna check the moisture, see what happened up front there, and maybe make a decision from that point. I mean, the two other fields we have are in much better shape, and this one was really nice. It's just whatever happened in between, I don't really know if it was because of all the rain or what, but the grass and the weeds really took over when it wasn't originally like this. So anyway, I'll see if I can get a moisture test with what we do have and see if we can keep going or not. Definitely not. Check it one more time to make sure that we're not reading something silly. This one right here, that's a green oat yet. That thing's still going to be in the milk stage for sure. Yeah, we're not quite ready. There's green ones in there and some grasshoppers. Yeah, there's a couple green ones. Well, at least we kind of know where we stand. I'm pretty sure she's slugged up. So it doesn't pay for me to try and do anything down here anyhow, just for the simple fact we can't continue. I mean, I really hate to run all this green material through the combine. I don't know. I still have some spray left in the sprayer that we use to spray corn. I don't know if that would make sense to come in here and just spray the entire field and kill it, because essentially the oats are already dying anyway. They just need to dry down. So I'm wondering, I'll have to do some research on that, but if we kill it everything, it's gonna, one, make it much easier for the combine to run it through, and I don't know. I don't want to spray it because this is going to be fed to the chickens and animals and stuff, and I really just don't want to do that right before harvest. Well, we'll get this thing back. I'm gonna have to back. I can probably turn around up there and go out, and I guess we wait. We definitely slugged it up very, very hard. And I tried it again, and it still didn't work. It actually knocked the main belt off underneath. So it's all right. I'll get that put on, and I'm gonna really think about that field, because there's some good spots when you're driving up and down the road that you can see there's a lot of oats there. So the more I think about it, I'm kind of leaning towards doing like a spot harvest and only harvesting the good areas where I know there's a lot of oats. The thing is, there is a lot of oats down in that grass. So if we'd harvest that whole field, we would end up getting some. But I gotta weigh my options as far as, one, is it worth it? Is it worth the constant slugging up and clogging up the combine? That I know is not worth it. And the little bit of grain that we're gonna get out of it, is it really worth fighting for to do that? You know, yes, we have input costs of seed, and you know, I don't have any insurance on any of my crops or whatever. I probably should, but I don't. You know, it kind of is what it is. As I've said numerous times, you know, this is my first year doing wheat, and it's my first year doing oats. So things learned, lesson learned, and I'm just gonna toss it around a little bit and figure out what I wanna do. Do I wanna mow it down? And the more I think about it, I think that's probably gonna be the best case scenario. The two other fields we have, the one definitely has some grass areas and has some grass in it, but it's nowhere near as bad as this. So that one, you know, we're gonna cut some of that for hay because a lot of the grass is just really tall and there's no oats there. The other field, same thing. There's some weeds in it, but there's a lot of oats. This field down here, there's only a couple areas that are really thick, and again, I don't think it's worth trying to do the entire field when the majority of it is in fact grass and weeds. So with that said, I got to put the belt back on, and this is going to be a short video. This is going to be wheat or oat testing, not wheat. And yeah, I'll give it a little bit more time and go from there. I know a lot of other farmers in the area have already cut their oats probably 2 weeks ago, so I'm not sure why mine is taking so long to dry down. Maybe it is the grass and the weeds in there. I don't really know. But either way, I'm really leaning towards not harvesting that entire field, because it's not gonna pay off. It really isn't. And we could go in there and do the heavy areas that are full of oats and get that out of there, and then just bush hog the rest, and it's gonna save a lot all around. Sometimes you gotta do that. So, short video, but you know, we learned the oats are not ready, and we gotta wait a little bit more time. So thank you guys so much for watching and sticking around for this painful process. I hope you have a great day. It is nice, it's getting hot, and they want about another week of this kind of weather until rain. So Have a great day, and I will see you next time.